people, good morning. How everybody doing? Now listen. If you missed Monday's show, you missed a banger. Yes, we're starting off with a bang. We talked about what you can do, how can you invest with just $100. We talked about, getting into something called Bitcoin. If you wanted to know a little bit more about it, we talked about it, got into it, and guess what? We don't just talk about it. I want to show you, we dive into it. So I don't know if you can see. There you go. I opened up my app. I'm learning with you guys. I'm starting off as well. Little bit by little bit, everybody can learn and you can try. What's the big scare? You just got to try something new. And you know who's been teaching me? My good friend, Peter. So let's bring him to the show. Welcome to the show. And do remember that we are giving away free gifts. So stay tuned and welcome to the show. Peter, where you at? There you go. And we're going to start it off. Give you some, there you go, some confetti as well. Got to give you some confetti as well because you're just helping me out.
New one.
Starting me off with a banger. You saw that I had to put my app on. You know what I mean? I got my app going. I got to learn a little bit about it. You know what I mean? So we got to learn. But hold on. We can't start the show without the partner in crime. I call it a fire redhead. She's the one that's putting in my what? How much she said she's giving me $50 for dinner? Is that? we gotta get it bumped up. Welcome to the show, Maria. There you go. She's on mute. There you go. Unmute yourself. There you go.
I'm sorry. I said I increased it to 100 today. Okay, so you don't feel that bad.
There we go. See, listen.
You can do it.
There you go. I feel the love now. How you guys doing?
I did you 70 shares right now on Facebook, so more people can join and listen to this show and what the great Peter has to say about crypto. So I'm very excited for today.
There you go. Okay, so let's recap real quick, Peter, from Monday. If people missed out, give us a quick rundown on what is crypto, and then we're gonna move into our session today at 5 different ones because people are all confused. Like there's Ethereum, there's this, there's that, there's a whole bunch. So let's just run down real quick on Monday what we talked about.
Yeah, so to run it down and recap really quick, anyone that hasn't learned anything about Bitcoin, watch our first podcast, the introductory documentary. We're just going to run through in a few sentences. Bitcoin is a new technology. What the problem the technology solved is digital rarity. Everything on this planet before Bitcoin that was digital, you can make 1 million copies of, 1,000 copies of, as many as you wanted to. There was no lack. So for the first time ever, Bitcoin solved digital rarity. And what humans do with rare things, whether it be gold, whether it be diamonds, paintings, whatever it may be, we apply it to currency. So the first step of the technology that was made to digital rarity, we apply in a form of payment because that's an important part. Half of every transaction, every time you buy something from a restaurant, you go to a store, you go buy furniture, you get your dog something, you get your loved one something, you're interacting in currency in a form of finance. So if we have a new financial instrument that is something that became digital rare that we're now using as a financial instrument, that is what makes Bitcoin unique. That is why you should look into it. This is why it's going to change many things in the world because we've never had digital rarity. And understanding that basic concept, there's so much more possibilities from this technology besides basic finance, but this is what we'll talk about today. And that was what the recap from the first thing is, just understanding that Bitcoin is not just a new thing or company, it's a new technology that has a network effect that has never been seen before from something that doesn't have a central entity. So it's the biggest decentralized or biggest peer-to-peer network effect on the planet that's right now offering us digital rarity. So we're applying it to finance, but there's so much more to come, like we'll talk about today.
And then if you're wondering what we're talking about with me and Maria about the 50, adding up to 100 and all that stuff, we were asking, how much do you have to put in? What's the starting point? And we were just talking about, the basics. You can start off small and keep increasing and going into, because a lot of us are sitting at home. We're saving a lot of dollars because we're not going out to dinner. We're not going to the movies. So why not make some residual income, some money coming in with a different way, make your portfolio a little different. We always got to expand our portfolio. And that's one thing a lot of people do not do. We think that the bank is the bank and the bank is the bank. And did I say the bank? Yes, the bank is the bank and that's all. We got to open up our minds and try other stuff. So this is why we're here today. So Let's go. All right, Peter. So let's go. First thing we want to talk about is cryptocurrency to invest in, but there's so many people are getting confused. And when I opened up the app, all these ones came up. I was like, oh my goodness. Okay, is each one different? Are they the same? Does each one do something else? How does it work?
So the perfect question to lead into the segue. So what I'm going to touch on is we got into the basic principle last time. I'll get a little bit deeper in the technology. So if you're not technical, just bear with me. Just grasp the concept. So there's mining, which is not actual mining like gold. There's a terminology. Like we use the word wallet. Like when you open a wallet for a Bitcoin, it just means a Bitcoin bank account, even though we don't like that word. So the people understand. A wallet is a slang for whatever reason we decide to use. So when I say Bitcoin mining, there's no one physically mining anything. It's literally computers that are like, it started with regular computers that they put like extra parts into, and then eventually they started making custom-made computers just to solve mathematical equations. So when we say Bitcoin mining, it's a super complex mathematical equation that supercomputers are solving around the world. And it was so lucrative to invest in these supercomputers. It's the biggest computer network by far on this planet. So we touched a little bit about that last time, but just to understand, that's what mining is, right? Bitcoin being the first cryptocurrency was based just on mining. So as we get into the 5 top coins, and it's very important to distinguish the difference between mining and what I'm about to explain, which is staking. Staking is leveraging a coin or something you already have. So whereas mining, you could have no Bitcoin, you put into computers, you put a big infrastructure, your computers solve a complicated math problem, targeted to the right place, the Bitcoin network, and if you're lucky, you win a transaction fee or a block reward, right? What staking is what most coins after Bitcoin, because we're going to be talking about altcoins a lot today, a lot of coins after Bitcoin that came out, not necessarily right away, but a lot of the smaller ones, and just, I would say at this point, I'm just throwing out a number, 50% are staking, which means they don't need physical computers to be doing mathematical problems. What they have is you take coins from, or you take a portion of that network. So you buy a portion of that network, whatever the coin may be called, whether it be called something like Polkadot, Dash, whatever it may be. Like there's several coins I'm going to get into. I don't want to just name them. You take that coin, which wouldn't be Bitcoin, which would be whatever coin of that network, and let's say there's 10 million of them for the sake of conversation. You can buy one of the coins, 10, 100, 1,000, doesn't matter how many coins you have. Each network promises a different return. So the most common return is, let's say, 5 to 15%. So there's a lot of coins, instead of taking computer power, they're asking you to buy into their network, hold their token, and then use a very basic amount of computing power just to verify that you're holding these coins on their network. And they actually give you interest for this. So this is what staking is, where mining is literally encrypted mathematic calculations. Staking is buying into a network, buying some of their tokens. So it's like supporting a network, or it's like, think about buying a stock and getting interest on the stock. That's what staking is. Whereas Bitcoin, you would just be buying the stock and you're just holding, waiting for it to go up. So with staking, there's actually other advantages because you're getting residual income. Remember, we're new to the space. Everybody, the whole space is new. So it sounds like, why would anyone get into Bitcoin where I could just buy an altcoin and get staking? Well, the reason is they have a small market cap and they're not proven, and the technology and the goal they're looking to build is not fully established yet. So understanding altcoins is very important, where you're putting your money and for what purpose and what is the goal. So before I get into my next 5, is there anything I should touch on before I get into the top 5 coins people should diversify with?
All right, so let's just break that down though, so people can understand. Because when you say mining, I don't know about you, Maria, but I'm thinking that there's people sitting there trying to chip away, making all these gold, and they're like, "Oh, we found some more gold. Let's put it on the market." So it's not actually mining, as other people have thought about. That there's like, oh, they're finding gold all over the place. Okay,
you're right.
And then when they talk about your wallet, so it's just like having a personal wallet where the money is sitting. Okay, so that's your own wallet. So let's not get confused. And they're like, oh, you have to go buy it and put in your money. No, it's a holding area for your money. Am I getting that correct so far, Peter?
Yes, correct.
Perfect. Okay. So if anybody has any questions on that before we move on, just put it in the chat and we will put it on. We always love your questions and I'll put them on the screen like this. Hello, guys. Hi. How are you guys doing? There you go. So we have a lot of people online. So if you have any questions, put it in the chat. We'll pop it on screen. Okay. So I think we're there so far. Maria, you wrote everything down?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
My notes.
So, for anyone new, if you didn't understand mining and staking by my 5-minute explanation, you could watch an hour-long documentary and still be confused. So just understand that's normal. For anyone that's confused about this mining staking thing, I just have to give you guys the fundamentals. So at least I did my best, you know? And you could go further and do your own research. That's why I do it, right? I'm not expecting you, everyone on the audience, to be like, oh, staking, mining, this makes sense now. No, but I have to mention it so you can do your own research to understand it if you need to. Right?
Exactly.
So
Yes.
now just dipping my toe into that. So digital rarity, back to Bitcoin, digital rarity and mining, right? The problem it solved was that Bitcoin's computer language is very basic. It's made to do basic finance, which is nothing wrong with that, right? So people are very creative and innovative humans, as we know. So we could manipulate that basic computer language. And for example, if you want to have a Rolex or some high-end item and you want to make a smart contract to program on the Bitcoin blockchain, that's possible. Complicated, but possible. But it wasn't made for that, but you can do basic interactions. Why the second biggest coin right now, Ethereum, why it came out and why smart contracts and where staking comes in, because staking makes smart contracts easier to leverage. So let's say we had a Tesla right now and the world, we fast forward 10 years and there's no more drivers. All the cars are self-driving, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you want your Tesla to be programmed, like maybe there'll be a main network, but let's say there's a decentralized option, something on Ethereum. This is the Ethereum logo, by the way, so I'm pointing to it. In Ethereum, you could build a smart contract where, let's say, every time you need to get a customer, it picks up a customer. Every time the car's low on gas, it has computer information saying it has to go get gas. When you bing it saying, after this customer, I need a car, it comes to you. This would be a complicated smart contract that you can actually build on other networks like Ethereum and other platforms. So whereas Bitcoin is made to do basic finance, that's what was its goal, so that's perfect. But other coins came out to essentially build a 3.0 internet. Not many people are talking about it like that, whatever terminology you want to use, but it's another form of interaction that goes much deeper than just the internet we currently use. So instead of just doing finance, instead of just talking to people online, now we're starting to build platforms and eventually be social media where you own your own content. And we're going to places that you can't even imagine. Just like people, when the internet came out in the 90s, no one could have foresaw social media taking off on people's cell phones and people walking around staring at devices. Like, no one could have foreshadowed that. Well, not no one, but most people wouldn't have foreshadowed that. So right now with smart contracts, there's so many possibilities and there's so little actual use case besides maybe the last couple of years. We're still dipping our toe in the water. So understanding that some coins are modeling Bitcoin. So there's a lot of altcoins that they're not trying to be smart contract, and there's nothing wrong with that. So there's Bitcoin, which is, we talked about people calling it the gold of the internet or the new gold, the digital gold, right? It just means it's a store of value. So Bitcoin is the biggest store of value in cryptocurrency, and that's its purpose. Now there's other competing coins to Bitcoin that they also have their own variations and their own pros and cons to stores of value. But the other big pool is smart contracts. And most of the big things happening in the altcoin space is people building platforms that allow you to make these smart contracts. And what's happened now, not only are these platforms built, people are building hundreds and thousands of tokens on these platforms. So for example, Ethereum ER20 is just a way of saying a standard of a token, right? Just, again, lingo in our space. It's not irrelevant to know. There's a way of just launching a token. We can launch a token today, just like we could have launched a website in the 90s. But it's relevant that if no one goes to your website, if nobody knows about your token, it has no value. So Ethereum actually has thousands of tokens, and I would say a couple hundred very good ones on its blockchain, on its infrastructure, a better way to put it if you don't understand what blockchain means yet, right? So you have other platforms too that have all these projects launching infrastructures on their base. And there's other ones that are looking to do just their own independent goals. So when you think about all these other cryptocurrencies, you have to think about these as a bunch of mini businesses looking to achieve goals, and they have a financial value 24/7 all the time, and that goes up, down, sideways, right? So you can't predict the price, and there's so many things happen. Like, a good way to understand why this technology in the space is so confusing is people are fixing planes while they're in the air. No one's landing their planes to fix them in cryptocurrency. They're launching platforms, they're smart contracts, finance, all this is happening live, and they're not like the old world was shut it down for a month or a week or a year, fix it, bring it back. If we have an issue in cryptocurrency, we literally fix it as it keeps live on air, keeps doing transactions, keeps doing all these things. So it's important to do research onto projects you're investing in, and that's what's going to make you hold on. Not because it had a fancy logo, not because someone like me or a friend recommended it. You have to understand there's a technology, there's something new entering the planet, the psyche of human beings, and we have the chance to do research and invest in the platforms we believe in that space. So, et cetera, et cetera. You heard me say Bitcoin already 10 times, and you heard me say Ethereum. So obviously, to anyone that's getting new to the space, don't overcomplicate it. Most human beings have one of two things. They either have time or resources and money.
Right.
So if you have lots of resources and money, this is definitely start off slow and pace it by getting into platforms and learning, right? And you want to just, especially someone with wealth, want to take the advice of the 5 coins I'm giving now. Now, someone with smaller pocket of wealth, but lots of time. So maybe you're a teenager. It's not necessarily a bad thing. You could be a child, still a teenager, early 20s, right? And you have lots of time, but not so much finances. Well, these 5 coins I'm about to recommend are definitely a great base, but you could do tons of research because you have the time, and you can find a gem that I won't even be mentioning tonight, right? So to anyone that's new, don't make it think like you need to have some big finances in your life to be able to get in the space. You can make $100 turn to $10,000 by doing 100 hours of research and finding the right token at the right time. I'm not going to be recommending any of these small cap tokens today, but I explain to you in the space, there's different strategies and different approaches. So if you have wealth, it's very easy to bring it into the space and leverage it in the right places and get returns. If you don't have wealth, there's lots of research you can do and find gems, because imagine the stock market starting, I don't know the year of the stock market, I'm not uneducated on this, but let's say the stock market started in 1950 for the sake of conversation, and you could be joining the stock market in 1958 or 62. Like, there's a lot of advantages to joining the stock market the first 10 years as there is 70 years later. So this is what I'm explaining, the importance of either getting into solid projects that have an establishment, and everyone should do that. Even if you have a small portfolio, even if you have $500, put a big chunk of it into Bitcoin, and then sprinkle the other experimental projects, right? You want to have your safe investment, and then you could also do riskier investments with a small portfolio, but be aware of that.
Okay.
So Ethereum.
So hold on, before you move on, just to make it clear, when we keep saying Bitcoin and seeing the pictures, like me in the beginning, I was laughing at myself because when we hear, oh, the coins are coming out, I thought it was like some other project, that they were actually this. Okay. I actually thought, and other people thought that, oh, you get coins. You know, like, you know, you go to you go to like a playland, you get all these coins, you go and you swap coins. It's not really money. Okay, so let me establish that as well, because a lot of people are like, oh, where do you hold your coins? Where do you hold your like? No, it's digital. So when you say coins, it's just a word.
It's one of those things like wallet. It's a new terminology. Mining. We're not actually mining. No one actually has physical wallets in our space, right? It's one of those things, right? You just have to understand.
Right. So that's the word.
To correct you though, because you made it seem like, for the people that I gotta stick up for my crypto community here, you made it seem like there's nothing tangible, like it's just in the air. But wait a second. Maybe you, Charles, you might be a unique guy, but most human beings don't have a bunch of cash in their wall, don't have a safe in their house.
No.
So you go to the bank's not storing a bunch of gold bars or cash. It's all digital anyway, right? So everything is digital regardless. So yes, we say coins is just a terminology, but also the way you made it seem is like, oh, it's not money. The money you use is not money either. Like, if you want to go with the technical terms, like money is cash in the pocket. And like, how many people are left using that in modern society in first world countries?
Yeah.
Slim to none. Sure, go to a third world nation. People are still using cash. but go to any first world major city and see how if cash is the main, like especially trying to buy something that's $15,000 and go pay cash and see how the human being looks at you.
Yes, my pen is ready for the top 5.
Okay, so we're gonna do the top 5, but we're gonna do the top 5 right after this break. So stay tuned. Don't go nowhere. If you want to get the top 5, get your pen ready. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back. CMJ Entertainment is a one-stop shop. CMJ Entertainment helps people do any type of events, and it's a marketing tool as well. So we'll cover everything from start to finish. If it's a wedding, we'll make sure your wedding is over the top. And if it's an event, we make sure that everybody gets information at the end of the day. Give us a call at 416-414-8964 or online, go to cmjent.com. Yes, we're back live. And before we move on, we will have to thank our sponsor, because without our sponsor, this show would not be possible. There you go. The Bitcoin Exchange, you can go online, just type in her website, and there's always information. You can actually see it there on the ticker. What's the value? What's going on? Up and down. It's a great place to look about what's going on and have it on app, have it on your computer. You're always getting involved. You're always there. So thank you to our sponsor for today's show. All right, here it is. I know you, Peter, you need to hurry up because I see smoke coming from Maria's pen. She wants to write down the top 5. I see it. I see the smoke. Let's go. Number 1. Let's start with the first one.
Okay, we'll do a disclaimer. Not financial advice. Do your own research, of course. But
Yes.
these are just, as someone that's been in the space 6 years, and to someone that's new, these are 5 solid projects I would recommend that have a good foundation for you to start. And again, do your own research. These are just 5 solid projects there's literally 50 to 500 amazing ones. So I'm just picking 5 that are great or good. Doesn't mean there's not another 150 that are just as amazing or good. So do your research, see what suits your portfolio. But yeah, so Bitcoin, number 1. Hold a big chunk of your portfolio, in my opinion. You do your own decisions, but from any professional, they'll tell you hold 50, 75, 33, like a big chunk of your crypto portfolio in Bitcoin. There's a reason it's the grandfather, right? You just want to stick to what works. The second biggest token right now is Ethereum. And I talked about smart contracts and the importance of that. So the token number 3 and 4 are going to be competitors to Ethereum. And just like we didn't know who was going to be the best internet searcher, we didn't know if it was going to be Google, Yahoo, we didn't know if it was going to be Hotmail, Gmail when we were younger, right? It's good to have your portfolio diversified for whatever platform is ready. So the number 3 coin I would get into, and 4, I'll put them in the same category, is going to be Binance token and Polkadot. So those are both, so people understand, competitors to Ethereum. Those are both launching smart contract platforms that are building, like there's tons of businesses, tons of platforms. We could get into another show detailing these kind of platforms and these kind of and what's going on in the space. But there's lots of infrastructure, lots of actual real life projects being built on Polkadot, Ethereum, and Binance token. So Binance token is Binance is one of the world's biggest exchanges. I think I recommended it last time. So full disclosure, as a cryptocurrency enthusiast, Binance token has a little bit of centralization to it, which I'm not a big fan of. So meaning that how we talked about last time, Bitcoin being completely distributed, Ethereum's completely distributed, Polkadot is as well. Binance has some aspects that they still oversee for the benefit of the platform, right? So the centralization that Binance has is actually to strengthen the goals it has as the infrastructure it's building. But whether it be Binance, Polkadot, Ethereum, those are just in the top 10. I'm a big believer in smart contracts in the Web 3.0 where we're going. So by holding those 3, most likely if you talked to me a year ago, I would say it'd be Ethereum, no question. That's going to be the head horse. And I still say is the head horse, but 2 horses following right behind it are Binance Coin and Polkadot. And actually, to give you, I mentioned ER20 tokens. Those are based on Ethereum. the gentleman who actually made that standard, there was 3 people that founded Ethereum, 1 key designer, a guy who consulted with them, and an older, whatever you call a coder. So it was a young, very young, super genius coder, an older coder that mentored him, and a guy who was in the business world that kind of made it all happen, right? So that was the base of Ethereum. And then they got a very powerful team. Ethereum was the first token that I seen that had meetups and had like a following like Bitcoin kind of did naturally. Like it was just like I never seen anything besides a Bitcoin meetup in 2015, 16. All of a sudden, 2017, 18, I'm seeing Bitcoin meetups, cryptocurrency meetups, and Ethereum meetups. So this was very unique, and obviously this platform took off. So the gentleman who made the ERC20 standard, which just means a way of launching tokens on Ethereum, he's actually the head of the Polkadot project, and he's made it many of the platforms that are being built and in many of the interfaces that are made to work with Ethereum. So it could be a situation where it doesn't have to be Ethereum and then Polkadot fails or vice versa. It's very likely that they end up all working together, and especially those two, because they already have a foundation and people that come from the same tribe, right? So Bitcoin, digital gold, biggest chunk. We don't know where Internet 3, it might be none of these 3 programs. It might not be Polkadot, Ethereum, or Binance. It might be something that comes out a year from now, 4 years from now. We have no clue what it's called yet. But that's why being in this exciting space and being in the frontier of change brings you many opportunities. So the place we're in now, those are the 3 that will give you a good gauge, because it's not just 3 tokens. There's actually hundreds and thousands of other projects coming out on Polkadot, on Binance, on Ethereum, where Bitcoin is its own monster. Bitcoin is just Bitcoin. It's made to be digital gold. It's made to be digital rarity, so you could apply it to finance, and that's what it's made for. These 3 actually have so much more functionality, and we don't know which one's going to come on top, but they're all 3 of them. By investing in those 3, it's not just holding those 3 tokens. You're actually investing in the infrastructure of cryptocurrency. Now, the final thing I'm going to get into is what's been hottest this year. So if I say NFT, non-fungible token, and I'm talking alien talk, it's just like the wallet, it's just like everything else.
Yes.
It's fun, right? So I'm going to make this one quicker, right? So non-fungible tokens are the hottest thing this year. Decentralized finance was the hottest thing last year. 3 years ago was ICOs, initial coin offerings. We're going to touch on all this throughout the 10 episode series. So if any of these words are confusing you, research them after. We'll get into it after. But it's important to understand that these are something you're getting into is the baseline here. So DeFi is built on mostly Ethereum, platforms like that. Even when I say all these projects, they're building all these infrastructures. So NFTs are actually, most of them are built on Ethereum and now starting to be built on other chains as well. So by just being invested in Bitcoin and these other tokens, you're actually diversifying yourself more than you know in the space, because it's kind of like, even if a small project launches something unique, it's most likely launching on one of those 3 platforms, right? And it's not obviously theirs. So the last one is the NFT craze. Watch the Saturday night skit from 2 weeks ago. There's a big funny skit with Eminem breaking down NFTs. It's non-fungible token. It's digital art. So whereas there's 21 million Bitcoins, there's 113 or so million Ethereum, they're all the same. It's like cash. If I have a $100 bill, I can trade it for a $100 bill, right? They're like, what the difference with NFTs are, they're one of one. So if I took this art piece and I made it digital and I made it to the NFT, it's one of one. There's not 1,000 of these art pieces digitized. And you could digitize 1,000, then you can make one of 1,000, but it's still a limited number. So that's why it's called non-fungible tokens. So that being the hottest trend of this year, there's actually an index fund that came out about a month ago, maybe even less. I think it came out in April. It's called MVI. That's the short form. I'm not going to memorize the thing. Anyone that, if you go to CoinMarketCap, World Coin Index, type in MVI. That's the short form for the token. It's a team of guys. I don't know how big the team is, but it's 6 to a dozen very intellectual guys in cryptocurrency that, instead of you trying to figure out what's the hottest NFT project, like I said, unless you're a teenager and you have tons of time, that's not for us. You have a team of people deciding what is the hottest NFT platforms, who's doing what, and they're changing their index at all times. So by investing in NVI, you're exposing yourself to this massive excitement of NFTs and not having to deal with all the research involved. So Bitcoin, three coins that compete with smart contract platforms, Binance, Ethereum, Polkadot, and the fifth one will be NVI to expose yourself to the hottest thing of 2021, which is NFTs. And again, everything that goes hot in our space never goes away. It just goes hot. A lot of things die out, but the big projects, the big institutions always stick around and stay relevant.
All right. So before we go on, I know everybody right now is like, "Oh my god!"
I have a question, okay?
Okay, because I'm blowing my mind. I'm typing away. I'm sitting there out. Let me just make sure we get this first before you ask your question to make sure I got it all. All right? Because I'm typing away. Bitcoin.
Yes.
With
Ethereum.
an E.
Oh, see?
That's how you know it, you guys. That's how you know it, you. I love it. It's a bunch of E's. E-T-H-E. It's okay. We're all immigrants here.
We'll get that. See? We'll get that. We'll get that. Okay.
It's spelled wrong, but it's fine. People get the drift.
Okay. Polka. Is that right?
That sounds right.
That's right?
I think so.
Okay. Binance.
Spelled wrong, but close enough. They'll find it.
Okay. I'm typing away as fast as I can here. And then the last one is that right?
NVI is the platform. NFTs is just a terminology of non-fungible tokens or digital art. So the platform, yes, it's NVI. NFTs just means what's the index fund of what it is.
All right, man. I'm typing away like crazy. There's so many. And like you said, you just have to research and see which one is right for you, which one you got to get into because there's so many. But these are the top 5 that he recommends. And like he says, it's just his recommendation. You need to do your research on everything he said and find out what is best for you.
Yes.
There we go. Change that up. There we go. That's spelled right now. There we go.
Yes, that's good.
Okay. Speed typer here.
Good for you. And as Peter is saying, he's not giving financial advising. Everybody's gonna do his own research. Now, the first question is for me. Let's say to buy on the other 4 type of cryptocurrency. First, I get to Bitcoin, and then from Bitcoin, I buy from the others. Like I put my wallet on my money on Bitcoin, and then buy for the other ones through my Bitcoin wallet.
Yeah. Okay. So again, disclaimer again, for new investors, if you're already a long-term investor in whatever you invested in your life and you're moving a big chunk of your portfolio, always important to keep your digital assets off the internet in our space. So we talked about last time, Trezor, keys. So if someone's already an accredited investor and they want to move a big chunk, they should keep it off the internet. So just full disclosure for anyone. But if someone's a smaller investor, now I'm addressing the smaller investors now, they're new to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not best to keep your money on an exchange. But if you're talking about a few hundred or a few $1,000s in a first world country, it's not that dangerous, right? To us, even if we lose it, we could deal with it. So exchanges is not the best place to keep your money. That's why I'm warning people, but that's how you get all these tokens. So that's why I recommended Binance last time, right?
Mm-hmm.
You could just join Binance right away, and instead of having a wallet on your cell phone, you could have a wallet from Binance, and you could download Binance on your cell phone. It just works better on a desktop or a laptop. And then you could send your Bitcoin right to Binance. So whatever the ATM, whatever the broker, however you're getting your Bitcoin, you could get your Bitcoin sent right to the exchange. And on that exchange, there's tons of tutorials online you could follow, or people could call me. I could lead them step by step. It's a pretty simple process. Then once your Bitcoin is on that exchange, it's just a matter of clicking certain buttons to get to any of those 4 coins that you're looking for, or hundreds of others, thousands of others.
Okay,
Right.
and hold on, one more question.
Hold on. Before we move on, when she's asking her question, we are going to give another giveaway. So make sure you enter hashtag CMJ Live, and then we have another free consultation with Peter himself. So if this is all getting into and you're getting excited right now, we're giving away another consultation one-on-one. He'll give you a call and you can talk to him one-on-one. All you got to do is enter this hashtag right now, hashtag CMJ Live. We're going to pick a winner after a few minutes. After she asks her question, we're going to pick a winner. So in the chat right now, enter CMJ Live to enter to win. All right, there we go.
Now, this the MVI. So, by the way, guys, you make sure you enter these so that you win that time with Peter, because as you can see, this guy is very well knowledgeable and can help you, make some extra income. That's good. So, in regards to the MVI index fund, I also get these through the same Binance application, like get
So
my Bitcoin.
MBI might be the only complicated one. That's why I was kind of hesitant to recommend it for new timers. You most likely have to use Uniswap, which would also be on like the Trust wallet we recommended. So you would have to get Ethereum, right? You would have to. So for example, you could open a Binance account, get your Bitcoin sent there, then you have to get your Bitcoin changed to Ethereum, and then you would have to take your Ethereum to the Trust wallet, right? And then you could swap it, or you could do it on Binance maybe as well. I don't use Binance daily, so I'm not going to misquote, but it might be an extra step. So MBI would be the most complicated of those 5 points to get. The other 4 are very straightforward on Binance. But again, a little bit of research is definitely, the harder it is to access something, the more likely you're to get a bigger return. Because once it's easy for everyone to buy, that's why in the early days, in the 2015, 16 days, when a token would come out and it wouldn't be on any major exchange, that's the one thing we would hope for. Like once the token makes it to, for example, if MBI was on Binance and you invested in MBI today, by the time it gets to Binance, you're going to be very happy with your purchase of MBI, because when it's that easy to get, everyone jumps on it, right? But these new things sometimes have a little bit more complication to get into, but that just means opportunity if you know how to take action in the right place.
Yeah, no, this is my best takeaway, because NFT is like a new world now and everybody's talking about NFT. So by having just these MVI where they actually they pick and choose what's the best NFT, then I can just invest on it. Oh man, that was wonderful piece of information that you just provided right in there. Really good. Thank you so much.
All right, so make sure you enter. We're going to pick right now, but I'm going to run it down one more time. We said Bitcoin, Ethereum, Polkadot. I think I like Polkadot. I don't know if I'm
or the name.
Yeah, Polkadot. If you guys remember back in the day, Polkaroo, Polkadot, the Polkadot door. I guess that's why I like that one. All right, Binance. All right, and it's NFT, and an NFT will work with you for the MVI. So there you go. Okay, so there it is right there. See, I'm learning, man. I'm putting this all down. I'm learning everything right there. All right. So enter to win right now. We're going to draw a winner. So here it is. The question I have. Are you sitting in front of the computer every day going, oh, that change, I got to add this. Oh, this change, I got to go this. Oh, this change, I got to go that. Or is it something that you just put in and then you just relax? Because my mind, like I see people with like pictures of computers and they're constantly looking at every computer and looking at every screen. Or is it something you just put in and then now and then you just add a little more, take a look there?
A perfect example is some people just like to go to nightclubs, right? And they show up at 11 or 12:30, music's on, lights are on, everything's exciting, and they leave by 1:30, 12:30. You in the entertainment side, you asked me this question, so I'm letting it to you. It's very non-glamorous if you come see what happens 5 hours, especially if it's a new venue, if it's not an established place, if it's a new hall, so people are lugging speakers, workers are there. Like, it's very non-sexy. It's very all stuff that happens leading to that moment. And if you want to be in the entertainment business full time, you should learn all that stuff, and it's important. But if you just want to show up to the club and have a good time, so if you want to just get into cryptocurrency and make profits, you don't need to know any of that. Just buy some Bitcoin, buy some of those other things I recommended, and keep buying every month or every quarter and forget about it. And you'll do really well as an investor, most likely, right? Not financial advice, do your own research. But if you want to be someone like me or someone like you in the entertainment space that could, if someone asks you, hey, how would I set up a party? You'd be like, oh, you start talking like I'm talking right now, right? So it's one of those things where it's like, if you want to be like super obsessive like I am, then yes. What you talked about, screens everywhere. Like if I move to the side, I have multiple screens on all day. I'm watching charts, this and that. But there was multiple years in cryptocurrency where I took my profits and I wouldn't look at a phone for a whole week. It would be in the safe. I'm not checking notes. I won't lie. I always usually have a girl around me, so I ask the girl when she's on her phone, what's the price of Bitcoin? Like every couple of days. I will do that. But I'm not staring at charts. I'm not day trading. You don't have to do any of that. It's for those people who just want to embrace themselves fully in that space. And it's not for everybody, and doesn't need to be for everybody. It's just one of those things where it's like, you want to jump into the pool, jump in. You want to sit on the side and just catch a can, there's nothing wrong with that. You know?
All right, so here we go. All right, I'm going to pick a winner. So if you haven't had a chance, hashtag CMJ, we're going to do the draw right now. Enter last 2 seconds, hashtag CMJ, enter to win. We're going to do it right now. 3, 2, 1, here we go.
And the winner is...
There we go. Congratulations. All right, so there you go. Another winner, a one-on-one call with Peter to understand everything we just talked about and ask him about Polkadot, because I just love Polkadot. I don't know why.
Hey, Polkadot's only like $35-$40 with a reasonable market cap that can grow. So for the people that like small numbers, Ethereum's at 2.5, 2,700, Bitcoin's 55,000, Binance is 500. Well, all of a sudden you see Polkadot, you're like, oh, $35. Even on our girlfriend's dinner cost, you could get a few Polkadots for that price, right?
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, everybody, congratulations, and thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, Friday, we're doing this again, little bit by little bit, learning a little bit about everything. And if you want to learn, don't hesitate to go to his website, send him an email, share the show, and let us know any thoughts. Put it into the comments. Let us know what you're thinking. If you want more information, it's all there. Once again, Peter, my friend, Fire Red. I gotta come. It's either Fire Red or Smiley, or we gotta come up. At the end of the series, I'm gonna nail down your own special name, your nickname. I'm gonna give you for the end of the series.
Thank you guys for letting me be part of this and learning from.
Not a problem. All right. Friday. We'll see you guys Friday. Take care, everybody.
Has come to an end. But the fun doesn't have to stop here. If you have any questions, suggestions, or feedback, head over right now to Twitter and Facebook and like, share, and get involved. Join us next time.
Please be advised that this podcast is meant for educational and informational purposes only and is in no way a replacement for legal or medical advice. The opinions contained within are solely those of the interviewers and interviewees and should be received as so. Those seeking help or advice are encouraged to obtain professional legal and medical services.